All right. Hi, everybody. Sarah Zolecki. I've got my girlfriend, Michelle Teague, with me tonight. We are excited to come into your, I don't even know where you are, living room, bathroom, kitchen, playroom. Some of you moms might be hiding in a closet right now trying to catch the live, right? We've done that a few times. But guys, super excited to have you guys, jump on and listen in tonight. And I'm excited to go live because I just feel that there's just, with all the stuff that's happening in the world, it's really my obligation to be a big light. And so I feel that the more I can go live and just breathe life into everybody, then you know what? I'm doing my little tiny part, right, in the world. And so I'm excited tonight because I'm going to actually get a chance to interview Michelle Teague, and you guys are going to get to know her story, and you'll know very quickly why I wanted to interview her. And Michelle and I have been friends well, we've known each other for a long time, but we've been like friends for like 7 years now, right? Mm-hmm. You guys know how you know of people, right. And then you finally get to be like real friends, right? And so it's really cool. So we've had a chance to build this amazing friendship over the last 7 years, and also we get a chance to work together as well. And I just love her heart because, Michelle Teague is one of those people that, because she has just kind of gone through so much stuff when it comes to building a business, raising kids, juggling it all, being a good spouse. I'm like, there's many a days that I'm like, what would Michelle Teague do right now? Because I'm still trying to figure it out, right? You've gone through a lot of the phases that I'm kind of in the midst of right now, right, as we speak. So thanks so much for being on tonight. I'm excited for us to get a chance to go back and forth and just have a real conversation and hopefully inspire some people out there tonight.
Yeah, it sounds great. I'm excited.
Yeah. So Michelle, let's kind of dive into a little bit about your story. I would love for you to share with everyone a little bit about just your background, growing up, like, why'd you say yes to network marketing? Why are you here? Because I think sometimes people, they see all the success that people have and all this great stuff, but they don't really understand like the whole backstory, right, of a lot of people and why they actually even said yes in the first place,
Right. Yeah. So I graduated. I'm going to date myself, whatever. I'll just go ahead and tell everybody right up front, I'm 55 years old. So when I first, I'll get that out of the way. Hey, we're all like in it to win it now. We're all like, I've got gray hair. I've got my nails growing out all over the place. So I'm like, right. I'm just extra done. So yep, 55. And when I graduated from high school, I moved to Houston, and I grew up in a very small town, like literally one stop sign is all I remember. I think they might have a light now.
Wow.
Tons of great friends, small school, just really good. I loved all that part about it. I was the oldest of 5 siblings. We all shared a one bedroom until I was 16, and I begged a friend to come over and help me like build a wall and put some carpet in a den.
So 5 kids in one room.
It was crazy. Back then, probably a lot of families did it that way. I don't know. Some of them did, some of them didn't. But grew up in a little bit of chaos. A little bit. I won't go into all the details of that, but it's a little bit crazy in my house, in my home. And so when I graduated, I wanted to get out I wanted to kind of move out for a couple reasons. Not to leave my friends, and not to leave my siblings, of course. That was really hard. But I felt like if I didn't go, I felt like there was something more out there. And I know a lot of people who end up in this business, that's, kind of how they think too. There's something more. Like when they get into it, even if they're really successful in some area, sometimes there's just something that they just want a little bit more of, whether that's fun or being around people that are positive, or they want to just add some extra. They just know there's more, there's something. And so when I graduated, I was going to move to Houston, Texas. That's a couple hours out of where I grew up. And just do something. So I didn't know what I was going to do. And so I literally didn't. I just, in my heart, I just knew there's got to be something bigger and better out there. And I kept trying to figure out what that was. In high school, whenever other people were saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I really want to do. But I did know this. I wanted to be a mom so bad at some point. And I wanted to be able to be with my family, and I wanted a husband who wanted to enjoy that family with me and be together. That was just a really big thing for me. And so I had that deep in my heart as like a seed planted in there. When people were filling out what they were going to do when they graduated, I put mom and wife, and I don't know what else. I didn't know. I don't know what else I want to be. So I ended up going to Houston. I got a couple of jobs at a couple of restaurants, which no fun at all. And I decided I would go into the dental field somehow. I don't even ask me how that happened. I went to school for dental assisting, and I thought I'll be a dental hygienist at some point. Long story short, I went to work for a dentist for a while, pulled a couple teeth, and I was like, dude, I'm out of here. I cannot do this the rest of my life.
I think of that. My sister that's her background, right? And I'm like,
no,
do it. Everyone's like different strokes for different folks, right? And I'm just like, I don't know how I could ever do that. Oh my gosh, I'm a wimp anyway, so I just couldn't do it.
I was too by the time it was over. And I am also, I wanted to chat a little bit more with people, and they had all this stuff in their mouth. You couldn't do that. I was just like, this is not. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? And I was still working for those couple of restaurants, which that was just, that's a whole nother story as to why I hated that. I was just like, this is not working for me. I don't like this atmosphere. It wasn't a fit for me at all. And for sure, I couldn't see myself doing that the rest of my life or anything. So one night, a couple of people walked in the restaurant that I was working at. It was late. It's pretty late, probably about 10 or 10:30, 10:30, 11. It was sometime in there. I was exhausted. And when they walked in, there was something about them that I was like, why are they so dang happy? I had kind of run out of steam, and I was like, I don't have any, there wasn't any joy. I was just working these jobs. It's just like I was just going through the motions, waking up, going to work, making a little money, going to the next job. By the time it was over, I worked 3 jobs. Because I did want to pay my bills. I was, very motivated to do something. Anyway, long story short, they walked in, and I was just like, I'm going to go talk to them. Like, I'm going to go over there to the table and act, hey, do y'all need anything? They were the most vibrant people in the whole restaurant. Let's just say that, including all the other customers. So I kept going over there asking if they needed anything. And they're like, hey, by the time it was over, we had talked about 45 minutes, and they said, hey, have you ever thought of owning your own business? I probably mentioned to them that I did not like working there. So that was a big deal right there. They probably hooked into that and were like, well, I wonder if she'd like to do what we do. And it was a network marketing company. I had never heard of it. I didn't care what it was. I was like, nope, I haven't heard of you could own your own business, but I'm all in. What do I need to do? I was one of those. And I was 19 years old, and I was like, whatever they're doing, they look happy. They look like they're having fun. And that was just very attractive to me. And so long story short, again, I'll cut it as short as I can. I went to a meeting that week, and I joined, and I never looked back. I just totally went for it. My friend who is in the business that we're in right now, who joined me about 1.5 years ago from high school, he remembers thinking, what the heck is Michelle Teague doing? Because I went back home and I told everybody about it. Like, I thought this is something anybody can do. And I knew people who didn't like what they were doing back home. So I went back home and told them all about it, and was so excited to bring something to them that they could do, that they could have fun with. And, some people joined me and some people didn't. But within probably about 3 months, I was making just as much money doing that as I was working those 3 horrible jobs. And so I was excited and it was fun. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I want to do. I was working with people, helping them do whatever they wanted to do with it. Some of them wanted to just make some extra income. Some of them, were like me. They didn't like what they were doing. And so it would just, that kind of stuff came from everywhere. And this is the crazy thing. No matter what they were dealing with and what they needed, that was a little bit more or a lot more, they could get it through this. Like it didn't, even if it was like, I just want to do something to help bring in more grocery money, or it was whatever, I want a car. I was like, oh my gosh, this will work for that,
Right.
for whatever you want it to work for. And, when you joined, I was so excited because it didn't ask me, did I go to some crazy college and graduate? It didn't ask me what my skin color was. It didn't ask me, thank God, how old I was, right? Because I was just 19. I had if it would have asked me or said something or made me feel like my age was something that would stop me, that would have been hard, but it didn't. So I was like, oh my gosh, anybody can do this. So by the time that was all over, I ended up being, I think by the time a couple years into it, I was training people. I was in front of the room. I was on stage, which I couldn't believe because, I had these things where I didn't really like people like watching me or doing any of that. And so, I'd be, doctors were in it, in this business, because they wanted some extra money on the side. A lot of people that have joined in this industry with us have done it because they just want something on the side that if something switches or changes in what they're doing, they've got this income. It's coming in, right? Yeah. Offset that, which totally makes sense. Even more so today, makes
very much,
right? So it's always made sense though.
Yeah.
It's how it's always been.
Wow. So
yeah.
I'm horrible with math. So you've been involved for how many years?
I think that's about 35 years now.
Wow. 35 years in the profession.
Yeah.
Wow. So obviously fast forward till now, right? Incredible things. I mean, you and your husband have built a ridiculous business. Yeah, I'm not going to go into all that stuff on here. Very well. Let's just put it that way.
Well,
got incredible kids. You're a grandmother now. I obviously now more than ever, the whole profession has kind of, definitely done a shift from, kind of old school home parties and hotel events to really online now, right? The reality is, guess what? We're all home right now. We're all online like crazy,
Right.
And, what's your perspective on, I think it's interesting too, because you raised 3 girls while building a business. And now, here a lot of us are at home wanting to do something from home. Yet we've got our kids at home and we're schooling them now, quote unquote, schooling them. I don't even know. I'm kind of pseudo schooling. I don't even know what you call it.
Yeah.
What would be like if you were walking into, building an online business now as being a mom? I mean, what would be, maybe some tips that you can give some people? What would be some things that, why you would even maybe get involved, right, with building online as a mom? And, maybe just give me a little perspective on that.
Yeah, so, we ended up homeschooling all of our girls the whole time. So that worked out for us because, once again, what was my heart of heart dreams? I wanted to be home with my kids and I wanted to see them a whole lot, but it worked out even better because my husband, Rick, got to do the same thing. Like he got the girls take their first steps and be around a little bit more. So have been in the situation that a lot of people are in right now. And it's not easy. It's not easy having your kids around all the time, and especially when you're not used to it. But I sure would have loved to have been able to build my business online with my little kids. It is a switch. It's not that it's not, hard or, I think we adjust to whatever need to adjust to. Right. So I'm not saying that it's not, one way was hard, another way's hard. They're both just different circumstances, right?
Yeah.
Man, I would have loved to have been able to do all this stuff online back when my kids were little, because we did more like meetings and we did some stuff back then that was, a little bit different. So that, but what I think is so wonderful about this is you really can come in, get online, do what you need to do for a little bit, get offline if you need to, go do what you need to do, then come back. You can schedule that, right? I mean, I scheduled it back then, but I had to schedule it a little bit different. I had to get out of the house or find, I had to do things a little bit different back then. But the bottom line is I would have loved to have been able to talk to my friends online and just touch base, build customers, do all that stuff online. Never touch a product that's going from the warehouse to the people. It's like, what is this, heaven, as far as this business goes? Because you have to get out and go all over the place. I'll just say our business did incredible last month. Our whole company is what, and so because we were able to meet needs online and, be able to deliver things online and talk to people about things online. And it, as far as our company went, it didn't skip a beat. That's unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
I think it's just important to have something like that, right? You can't even get out and do a lot of the plan Bs.
Exactly.
We're doing. And so this, such a viable business. I mean, if you think about it, the whole world did 200 million, I think, paid out 200 million in revenue worldwide a day last year. In America, 35 million a day revenue. That's money going into the homes of people. That's commissions, not revenue of the company.
Yeah.
So that's pretty crazy, right? I mean, that's a lot that's constantly, going through, and most of it now is online.
Exactly.
Oh,
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I'm so grateful because I think about, I think for me, like, I love the fact that, first and foremost, I love being a mom. I mean, that's my heart, but I also know as a woman too, like, I do want to bring something to the table, right? Not saying like I'm not fully 100% complete, but there's a little piece of me that like is very fulfilled with like accomplishing, right? And bringing something to the table and doing something for me and saying, I was able to do this, and, that whole thing. And so I love that I, have the ability to do something part-time.
Yep.
Like I'm a part-time girl in my business, and I love that I can work a business part-time. I can be with my kids. I can make money every single day if I wanted, which is incredible, especially now with, more and more people are unfortunately kind of scrambling, trying to figure out, oh my gosh, like what am I going to do in the meantime?
Yeah, exactly.
Where I, feel like you, that this is a incredible viable option that allows someone to, hey, let's help you, make some extra money right now until you do go back to work. Or if you, unfortunately, maybe don't go back to work, you know what I mean? Or whatever, right? Let's just kind of like call it as it is. Right. So, so I think that, I think that's what's exciting too, is that we're able to be a part of something where, I feel like I'm a part of that, right? I'm giving back. I'm, contributing as a woman. I also get to help my household as well, right? While still being the best mom I can, being the best wife that I can. And I think, I think that at the end of the day, I think a lot of women are like that, but they just don't know there's an option.
Right. Exactly.
They just don't know there's an option, So why am I doing these lives? I'm doing these lives to say, girls, there's an option. That's why I do these lives. You know what I mean? Exactly. I do these lives to be more, hopefully somebody catches it on the news feed and they're like,
I know.
Oh my gosh, like there is something that I could do part-time from my phone while I'm already on social media anyways, I might as well make money on it. Duh. And I can make money every day to pay for diapers or pay for, a bill or pay for groceries or save, right? Safety net, whatever it may be. I'm like, I'm doing these lives and having great, people like yourself come on and inspire people to say, oh my gosh, there are options.
Yes. And you can do this with your own personality, with your own hours, but you have help and you have people working with you, answering questions. You're not doing it by yourself. So you're not going off or even working at home just in a little bubble by yourself. That's really kind of hard for women in general, because we're natural relationship connector people, and that doesn't matter what our personality. I'm an introvert. I am an introvert. I draw energy from kind of scooting off alone for a little bit. Extroverts want to be in those groups and want to be all together with people. We both love people, but we can actually all do this. Your personality doesn't matter. Your fears don't matter, because we all have those. If you're fearful of doing something, you've got somebody help you get over that. That's what I've loved about this business. I was raised in this business, and I'm a better person. And so I turned into a better mom than I probably could have ever been. I turned into a better wife for sure than I ever could have been. I turned into a better a person who can deal with issues and problems. And but I always had, the thing about it is I always had someone around helping me through everything. I was alone. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to get on a phone call or do anything in this business alone. I always had somebody there with me no matter what. And that's another thing that I love about this, because all women are leaders.
Yeah.
All women are leaders. We're always leading. Why not make a little money while you're leading?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think too, there's something to be said for your kids seeing you running your own business and being an entrepreneur, right? I mean, you know how it is. They emanate and they do exactly what you do, and whether it's you're instilling confidence in them, and you don't necessarily have to be like always speaking to them, but they just see you. So it instills confidence, right? Or just little things that I think is so important for me, that as an entrepreneur, that my kids have just naturally, it just kind of like through osmosis, right? It like just connected to it, and it's who they are now. So I think that piece is another thing too, that they see their mom going after their dreams. They see their mom through, good days and bad days, and the days that they push through, and the triumphs and the defeats, and the, all of that stuff that teaches them so many incredible lessons just by them seeing.
Yeah, we were talking
being in it with you.
Yeah, I was talking to my girls the other day before all this kind of stuff happened, and one of them, the youngest one, said, "You guys made us unemployable." Else, right? All of our girls, no matter what, it's just super hard for them. They enjoy the things that they've done. One of them is completely self-employed. And then we have one that's a mom at home with 4 kids, and now she's homeschooling. And then our youngest one, they're very good. They just excellent, strong women.
Yeah,
wow. They work really hard. They think it's crazy when people don't work hard and don't go after what they want. They all know what they want to, and they got to figure it out. If they don't, they're not scared to fall down and get back up. I mean, just so much from just that part of being in business, like you said, being a mom right in front of them, going after the things that they want to do. They've seen us go after some stuff and have to pull back and reroute. And that's what they do. They're not scared of anything. I'm not saying they don't have fearful moments. We all do, right? But I just love watching them as adults now, because if they're thinking something, they'll be like, hey, I'm just going to go try this. Our youngest daughter's tried, I don't know how many things. She's like, no, I don't like that. I'm going for something else. And it's just, I'm like, that's incredible. Like, you're going to go get it. Like, oh, I just love it. And then I have grandkids already talking about, we want to be like Mimi and Pop. We want to go, have our own business. So they're already talking about little businesses. They're 6 and 9. And wow. I'm going to have this business, and I'm going to have this business. It's so cool.
Oh, wow. That is so awesome. So for the moms that are watching and we've kind of like stirred it up a little bit for them, where they're like thinking, maybe I do need to take a look at something. Maybe I, do need to look for a safety net. I mean, but they've got a little bit of hesitancy or maybe a little bit of fear or who knows what, right? Because you know how girls are. We like tend to most of the time be our worst critic and
for
hard
sure.
on ourselves. I mean, what would you tell them right now if they're starting to kind of like wanting to take a look at something?
Well, I just think they just have to get with someone. They just need to at least check out, get some information, whatever that is, and just as far as being in this industry, maybe flush their minds a little bit of any past failures in this, right? What they perceive as failures, because a lot of times that was just a lesson. It wasn't a failure. Don't take that personally. Most of the time when people get in a company and maybe don't quite make it like they hoped before because it was whatever, it was or whatever happened. I like to just say, look, that usually wasn't you. It usually was something else, honestly. It just wasn't meant to be. And what if, try again. Like, don't leave the whole, don't what is it? Throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
On something that I just said earlier pays out $35 million a day in revenue.
Right.
In the United States, come just try to get a piece of that instead of totally rejecting something. And then sometimes it's because of something else they heard from somebody. And I'm like, I've been doing this 35 years full time.
Yeah.
I mean, right then and there, if we can do it full time, all the way, full time for 35 years, and somebody can come in and get some of that part time. And when I say full time, like you said earlier, we're still part-time. I still have other things I do. I work with an international ministry, and so I put a lot of time into that. And but this is what makes me able to do that. Create the place and the space for me to even be able to do that. Like I couldn't be working another job or be doing something else outside the home, and be able to go into some things that I absolutely am passionate about. I'm passionate about this business for sure.
Yeah.
I've done it for 35 years with Rick full time. But I have some other passions. And I think that's what this business can do for a lot of people, is start to open up some other doors, right? Take one space that keeps the doors closed and catapult them into another space where they can actually do the things that they dreamed of, that may be locked up in their heart that they even forgot about. Another day, you may have seen it online. I got out an easel and started painting. I was like, I'm going to try. I've always wanted to paint. I'm going to go paint. I painted this little thing, and I was like, oh my gosh. You just can't do a lot of that kind of stuff just if you're kind of, I don't know, just sometimes. We have a lot of people here, for instance, in the music industry. They're so talented and so good, but sometimes, you have to have something that kind of helps pay for your passion, right? So maybe maybe there's a mom out there that has a passion for something else, but not the money to support getting there.
Exactly.
You can use this as a bridge to cross over to some other things and have the income that holds your family up. While y'all go do other things, or while you help your kids who have some passions do some extra things that they couldn't do if you didn't have that extra money. Sometimes it's not about us. It's about finding that my motivation for doing this was my future family. And so then it was my present family. Then it was my kids, right? And now it's my grandkids. I don't want to go do anything else because I want to be around them, right? So we need to find, what is that we need, to that kind of, it may not be something you're thinking about yourself. Maybe it's somebody else, maybe it's, oh my gosh, I want to pay for a whole vacation cash, next year, of course. We're not going to go anywhere anytime real soon, but when all this, right. So you can start thinking like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I always tell people too, it's like, guys, like if people could really get the money game out of the way, like, and you can't just, you can contribute time, right? A lot. It costs nothing. But the reality is that there's a lot of things that people that are watching and you and I and people that will watch the replay of this, that we all want to do. But the reality is, for most of those things that we want to do, it takes money.
It does.
It takes money to build a school. It takes money to send someone on a missions trip. It takes money to do a lot of these things, right? Money is an incredible tool.
Yeah.
So it's like, so what vehicle are you using to generate that income to be able to fuel those things that you want to be a part of, right?
Yeah,
and
sure.
So I think that's the thing too, is saying, so what is that vehicle, And so, like, for me, like, that's why I love this business, right? We, you and I, we both helped start the company 7 years ago. And, I just think that it's like, oh my gosh, like, this is something that, I have the ability to have disposable income where I can send people here or pay for different things or do these things. And granted, sure, I've worked hard for all of that, but it's being able to say yes and do it.
I know. That's right.
I mean, that's what it's about, is the contribution piece of it, right? So I think that's the same thing too. Like, we have a girl that's in our business, and like, she's a teacher, but she makes a full-time income with us, even though she's part-time, right? Part-time effort, full-time income, incredible. She still teaches because she's passionate about it, but she teaches because she's a better teacher now. She's teaching not because of because she needs to make money anymore. She's just for the love of teaching, which makes her just a better teacher.
I love it.
Right? I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. For people, it's like, whatever you're doing, like, it's hard when you're so bogged down on the stress of like, I'm doing this because I gotta make money. Like, what if you could actually release that?
Yes.
Right? Oh my word. It would be incredible.
No, I really just, we hear people say all the time, if you're doing what you love, that's what counts the most. But like you said, when you add that stress of, it has to, I'm doing this to pay the bills, is different than I'm doing this because I love it.
Right.
I'm not tied to it financially. It also can release somebody from thinking maybe that's, they're doing something, but that they maybe would like to swing to another tree. What if they want to do that? You can't do it if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you don't have any money to bridge that gap. And so, I just hope people just call us or call whoever. just look into this. I'm always
exactly. So guys, so here's the thing. So you might be watching this on my wall. You might be watching this on Michelle's wall. Somebody might have, shared it on their wall. Make sure you get back with them and talk to them and say, hey, I want to talk to you about this online business. Like, give me some info. Let me get a chance to check it out, so they can get you guys plugged in with what we do and the simplicity of, doing everything online through social media, through your smartphone, right? Super part-time, the ability to make daily pay, right? All of that great stuff that really sets people up to win, right? At the end of the day, make sure you get back, with whoever, and they'll, get you connected with the right information and that sort of thing. So, I just want to thank you, Michelle. Thanks so much for being on tonight. And I hope you guys got some great value out of this and be inspired about this amazing profession. And then obviously maybe even taking the next step to getting more information about it if you're not already involved. So thanks again, Michelle. God bless you. And we'll talk to everybody soon. Take care.